T-Rex looks like it was dipped in a can of white paint. That is real, and sometimes alligators come out white. This extremely rare 1 in a million phenomenon comes in a lot of different animal species as well, such as the not-so-king king of the jungle, the lion. The real king of the jungle is the tiger. You don't even live in the jungle. The most venomous nope rope in the animal kingdom, the king cobra. Everybody's favorite plastic bag eater, the sea turtle. The living leather submarine, whales. Every orca and leopard seal's favorite dessert, penguins. And everybody's favorite roid reindeer, the moose, or mises, or moss, I don't fucking know, mooses. These animals are actually leucistic, not always albino. Albino would be a complete loss of pigmentation in the skin alongside red eyes. However, leucistic animals have only a partial loss of pigmentation. Besides being one of the coolest and rarest conditions you can have as an animal and looking like the Ferrari for your fucking species, this does come with its problems. Now, although some animals are the prey and others are the predator, they all come with built-in camouflage, allowing them to hide from their special counterpart. That's because their rare condition causes them to stand out like a man walking around TJ Maxx that can't find his wife. With that being said, I'm sure you can imagine why these animals' life expectancy is only 24. But Mr. Snail King, 24 what? Days? Months? Years? 24 fucking hours, which means not only were you the most lucky, but also the most unlucky animal on the planet. But that's still not the only challenge that comes along with this condition. Say, for example, you're one of these animals and you don't get eaten and somehow survive to adulthood, because it does happen. Much like humans, the lighter your skin, the more likely you are to get sunburn. It's like their camouflage-colored counterparts, reptiles need to bask, and the problem for these guys is they don't have enough color in their skin to allow them to avoid getting sunburn. It might just be me, but I think these animals make other animals look store-brand. It doesn't just stop with animals either, plants can lose pigment too. The problem for these plants is they can't survive on their own because they can't get enough nutrients from the sun due to their lack of color. However, much like this not-so-red redwood, it steals most of its nutrients from its neighboring counterpart. These shouldn't be white plants also are connected to a shoot from another neighboring plant of the same species, and it actually sucks the nutrients out of those plants because they're able to get it. But I know what you're thinking. Yes, all black animals also exist. They're known as melanistic, and if you want a video on these, let me know in the comments below. But for today, that's all I got. Peace. Yeah, it's me again, and I think these underwater sandwich condiments are the most overpowered and underpowered animals on the entire planet. Let me explain. This all-inclusive bikini bottom band comes equipped with no brain, no heart, and 98% water. Bro is literally almost as much H2O as a glass of water. And aside from being this sea turtle's favorite treat, only second to plastic straws, evolution didn't actually raw dog them as bad as you may think. Starting off with the only jellyfish that would probably take SpongeBob's net and jam it up his behind if he tried to catch it, the box jellyfish. 7 feet long and enough venom to off 60 grown men within the flick of a wrist. It's reason 101 why I'm going to stay out of the water this summer. And you may think that cube-shaped jelly donut has no eyes, but you'd be wrong because it has 32 and 2 of them can see colors. Up next is the only animal that tells death to kick rocks, the immortal jellyfish. This animal is the human equivalent of jamming yourself back in your mom's hoo-ha because when it's born, it grows up to become an adult and then decides, hey, I'm not gonna die, I'm just gonna become a fetus again. Now, yes, that would be a fish inside of a jellyfish because jellyfish gotta eat, but where do they go to the bathroom from? Oh, the same hole. Now, just because some jellyfish have a single hole multi-tool doesn't mean that all jellyfish do. Scientists just recently discovered a new species of jellyfish that grows a new anus every time it has to go to the bathroom. Now, if you're wondering what this cluster of alien dookie is, that's a man-of-war jellyfish, and believe it or not, it's not really a jellyfish, it's actually just a clusterfuck of other animals. And they're also extremely venomous, so don't go near it. But if you do happen to get stung, don't let your friend pee on you. It doesn't do anything, it's a myth. It was just a joke that a bunch of guys made up at one point to watch their friend pee on himself. And I'm not exactly mad about it. Anyways, that's all I got. Peace. This is a sandbox tree, and this horny demon plant has the ability to fuck your day up much quicker than your boss during a company inspection. Let's get into it. Besides being hornier than your little brother in the 8th grade and living in the tropical parts of North and South America, there are other things about this plant that make it awful. That's because every single part of this titty-covered tall boy is completely poisonous. No, I'm not kidding. This thorn bush on steroids has poisonous spikes and poisonous leaves. But thank God that's it. No, it's not. As you know, many trees have tree sap, but this one's a special. That's because this tree that belongs in a forest fire has sap that if it gets on your hands and then you touch your eyes, you go blind. But that's not all. The giving tree keeps on giving. And this time it's not apples, it's fucking bombs. This terrorist tree often drops these fruits, and these fruits explode and spread poisonous seeds up to 30 fucking feet. And then, of course, as seeds do, they grow more trees. Tell me again you don't think the world is tired of us, because I think it is. Oh, and by the way, we got merch now. Check the link in my bio. That's all I got. Peace. Which 5 animals do you think kill the most humans every year? Let's do a top 5. Taking slot number 5 and 2,500 bodies a year is the crab that took it too far, the scorpion. With almost as many bodies a year as your mother, you would imagine your mother would be venomous too. Oh, and these biological flashlights are bioluminescent, which means they glow under black light. And much like us men, those pinchers also come in all different shapes and sizes, and believe it or not, the bigger they are, the less venom they have, so stay away from the small ones. That's what she said. And it'll also blow your mind when I tell you that an animal that gets nukes every game can also die from constipation. That's right, just like some lizards, scorpions can drop their tail in the event of a predatory attack. However, their asshole is also connected to it, so when they lose their tail, they also lose their ass. Scorpion venom also isn't just for taking lives. Some people actually take the venom, dry it up, and then grind it into a powder, and when they do, they smoke it to get zooted, and I don't recommend it because sometimes it leads to death. I wonder what percent of the 2,500 is from overdose. Plot number 4 and 10,000 bodies belong to no other than the assassin bug. On paper, a better assassin than John Wick himself, and in my unprofessional opinion, that still ain't what makes him scary. It's the fact that for a living, it carries around its victims' corpses on its back. Yeah, you heard that right. Unlike Jeffrey Dahmer, who was too much of a scaredy cat and hid all of his bodies in drawers and closets, this motherfucker shows them around like a goddamn medal. With an average about 10,000 human bodies per year, you can imagine if it was big enough, it would carry around you and I. A large majority of the time, however, their prey items are other bugs, and other bugs can sense each other by using pheromones. The assassin bug, however, instead of wasting time, covers himself in the other bugs that he likes to eat, so all the other bugs are like, oh hey, that's our friend over there, and he just sneaks in, lives in their house, and eats them, ants specifically. Third place and a huge jump at 138,000 kill streak is everybody's favorite danger noodle, the saw-scaled viper. And I bet you didn't know this, but snakes got the 2-for-1 deal at Nathan's because they have 2 dinkies. Snakes often do the dirty in groups, and they kind of just poke around in hopes they hit something, so having 2 is a better chance than having 1. And the reason they're so dangerous is because their venom turns human blood into pudding. Not the good kind of pudding, it's basically like just more of a solid substance that your body can't circulate anymore. This next one's a favorite of mine. Second place, 200,000 bodies, and the ability to fall asleep for 3 fucking years is none other than the freshwater snail. Yeah, you heard that right. Not only are they taking names, but they're also taking naps. That's because Gary the snail over here, if he doesn't like the weather or the conditions of the water, just falls asleep for 3 years till it gets better. These not-so-homeless slugs actually carry around a parasite that's extremely deadly to humans and is one of the most deadly parasites on the planet. And if you thought the 200,000 body price tag was bad, imagine this, they infect over 250 million people per year. First place in over 700,000 bodies a year is the only animal this world would be better without, mosquitoes. They transfer disease, have a favorite blood type, and they also prefer people who just drank booze. And why are you always buzzing in my ear? I hope you enjoyed. Peace. The Kraken is real and I'm about to ruin your day, so stay tuned. Now I'm sure you're well aware of the ocean's biggest fuckno, the giant squid. But were you aware he wasn't the biggest? Let's talk about that. I would like to formally introduce you to the only animal that's more elusive than my father after he left the house to go get milk in 2005, the colossal squid. Much like his soul, this animal lives in the deepest, darkest, and coldest areas of the planet, the Antarctic Ocean. Making your average London bus look like a Hot Wheels car, Nature's Revenge over here grows up to 1,500 fucking pounds and 33 feet. Oh yeah, and why wouldn't it be fucking red? Demons! Colossal squid is known as the heaviest invertebrate ever discovered. Invertebrate meaning animal without a vertebrae. Scientists also claim that their eyes are the largest eyes in the animal kingdom. Fortunately, we've only seen about 6 or 8 of these fucking things, so scientists don't know a whole hell of a lot. However, they do believe that they're relatively intelligent despite being related to a fucking garden snail. Now at the moment we're pretty lucky because it seems like my boy only really consumes fish. However, he still packs a pretty nasty fucking pie hole. Yep, that's his mouth. With the beak of a parrot on steroids and tentacles that could likely rip you in half with one pull, you would assume that's the only weaponry my boy needs. However, unlike his genetically stunted cousin, the giant squid on the left here, he's got much cooler tentacles. Because on many of his girthy ass, gigantic tentacles, my boy has claws. On the bright side, the eggs are pretty tiny. However, a female could lay about 4.2 million eggs. This bitch is like a fucking factory. Now I hate to break the news to you, but as babies, they do live on the surface. As they get much larger, they tend to drop in the deeper depths of the ocean. We do know, however, that even at their monstrous size, they have a predator, sperm whales. Being the only animal that can bust a load 3 times the size of your bathtub, it's no surprise to me that they tackle these fucking creatures. However, what's more terrifying is opposed to the 8 of these that we have discovered, we've also found a couple of these things' beaks and their tentacles stuck to sperm whales up at the surface. Based on the size of these overgrown calamari's remains, scientists believe they're actually a lot bigger than we think. Before we go, I'd like to ask nature if it could take this thing back and just give us Megalodon instead. Giant underwater slime spiders are really not my thing. Peace.